Muchachos y muchachas. So I don't usually make just videos about the LMNOP community unless it involves children and some 𝘮𝑟𝑗𝑗 behavior, right? But in this particular video, I'm going to comment on this incident that happened yesterday. Okay, if you guys are not aware of what happens, if you didn't see all of this circulate on social media, I'll let you know that there were TikTok influencers that were invited to the WhiteHouse Lawn, in which some of these influencers didn't know how to act, didn't know how to be civil, have some classy behavior, and a few of them lifted up articles of clothing and exposed certain anatomies of their body. Okay, we'll put it like that. One of which was more prominent in capturing all this attention because the type of anatomy that this person augmented truly does look woman-like, right? And this has never been done on the WhiteHouse Lawn in public before, and this is why it's causing such outrage because when everything just seems like it's normalized, it's always like there is a bar that is pushed. And I do want to comment on this. Like I said, I don't usually make videos like this just concentrating on the LMNOP community just because, but I do have a few things to say. So with that being said, hold on to your butts, secure your wigs, stay right there. We're going to go through it. Quick, I'd like to thank the sponsor of this video, Multi-Collagen by BioTrust. So studies have revealed that our appearance affects our mental health, but unfortunately there are products out there such as serums and skincare that don't target the source of the problem. This is why I'm such a huge fan of Multi-Collagen. Multi-Collagen works to quickly restore youthfulness back to our skin. It helps by combating loose skin and wrinkles, and it does it quicker than anything else I've ever tried. Imagine how good your skin will look this summer by taking it. If you want to look and feel your best, grab Multi-Collagen today by going to healthwithnatalie.com. That's healthwithnatalie.com, or there's a link in my description below. So as once where Joe and Jill Biden both said that they wanted to restore decency to the White House, this was completely backfired, undone, and flipped upside down. As yesterday, a few influencers that went to a lawn party decided to shed their clothing, okay? Now, this is self-explanatory. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen a lot of these videos circulated on social media already. This is just still. I also want to point out that not just this happened, but also another controversial, I guess, a video that went viral earlier this year was of, I thought that this was a dude, but it's a female who went, Optimus Prime Transformer, and she was talking to her baby girl and basically saying that she had a certain body part that starts with the V, and the girl was repeating back. It was that video, right? So I was even shocked to see that person, not shocked, but you know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, wow, y'all went that low too to invite that person. But it hit another low as everybody is so conditioned in their debauchery nowadays that I'm sure this is why they thought that this would fly at the White House, where a few of some other Transformer Optimus Prime individuals were lifting up certain articles of their clothing, showing off certain anatomies of their body, in which one that goes by the name Rose Montoya, who is actually, a senor. And, this person just covered up the, whats of the chichas and was bouncing them all over the place. All right. Rightfully so, this drew a lot of outrage because this is not a usual thing, especially when you are at a, even if it's a grandeur estate like the White House, right? Because this is the house, this is the institution that has hosted presidents throughout time, right? Since the beginning of presidencies. And despite how we disagree with certain people portraying themselves as head of this particular house in this current day, it's still the White House. And so, you know, there's so many things, symbolism, meanings that stand behind that White House. And this is how people opt to treat it and to behave themselves in front of it. Now, I did want to share with you guys this particular video here. So this is the influencer that did that thing in front of the White House. And this is something that I guess this person had to say about their behavior. And yeah, it's not any better than you would think. Let's take a listen.
It has recently come to my attention.
Yes, a whole baritone voice.
That conservatives are trying to use the video of me topless at the White House to try to call the community, etc. And I would just like to say that, first of all, going topless in Washington, D.C. is legal. And
doesn't matter, dude. Doesn't matter. Okay? Like, there are so many things that I can say are legal in certain geographic locations. Does it make it right? Does it make it right to do? It talks about more about your consciousness and wanting to do those things at the contrary, and full on, that might be full on taboo in today's day and age. You'd rather do that than just be decent, right?
And I fully support the movement in freeing the nipple, because why is my chest now deemed inappropriate or illegal when I show it off? However, before coming out as trans, it was not. All you're doing is affirming that I am a woman. All you're doing is saying that trans women are women, because for some reason, people like to sexualize women's bodies and say that they are inappropriate. My trans masculine friends were showing off their top surgery scars and living in joy, and I wanted to join them. And because it is perfectly within the law in Washington, D.C., I decided to join them and cover my just to play it safe, because I wanted to be fully free and myself. I had zero intention of trying to be vulgar or be profane in any way. I was simply living in joy, living my truth, and existing in my body. Happy Pride. Free the...
So I had one interesting comment. I also posted this on my Instagram, where this person replied back to my video and said, legal to be topless in DC, but sleeveless dresses are deemed inappropriate on Capitol Hill. Surely that means that one shouldn't be topless on the White House lawn. Nothing makes sense, and I'm just honestly surprised that God hasn't just napalmed this whole planet. And I am also surprised, but not surprised, as ironically God gave us the symbolism of a rainbow to make covenant with us that he would not wipe out the world by flood again. Although there are a lot of things that I would say would constitute for such an act. And here's the thing, like, why wouldn't this person, so this is the person's whole reasoning for exposing the chichas and say, I wasn't meaning it in a lewd manner, I wasn't trying to be lewd about it, where it's like, dude, how much more lewd can you get than exposing your body, right? And here's another thing that's ironic, is the fact that this person had to augment their body in order to appear more woman-like. Here's also another interesting aspect. Okay, well, if that's your argument, that, okay, I just wanted to feel my truth and I just wanted to prance around and frolic with my chichas out, like, why wouldn't you frolic with all your other parts out? You know what I mean? Like, it's not illegal in DC, okay? So if it's not illegal in DC, then why didn't you frolic with all your other parts, if that's the argument you want to take, that, you're just trying to feel part of your womanhood, if that makes any sense. And that's something that truly astounds me, as that this, if you really think about all of this, it is truly misogynistic, because if you think about the truth of all of this, right, things that I cannot say, But if you really think about all of this, it is a mockery of women. Because women, like natural women, do not just go out and frolic. Like we don't just go to and I'm talking about like nothing that's not like Mardi Gras. Like if you go to Mardi Gras, you're gonna see stuff like that, okay? But that whole scene is debaucherous anyway. I'm talking about like you go outside for a walk, or maybe there's like a festivity, downtown with family friendly and stuff like that. You don't see natural born women just going off topless and walking around, right? So that's initially making an entire mockery out of women, as if that's something that we do regularly, consistently, every single day, right? Now, I made this argument, taking it back to the whole misogynistic aspect of this. This is, as you see it, it is what it is. This is not a muchacha. This is somebody who wants to be a muchacha, will augment their body parts to want to be a muchacha. But I'm actually made this argument, I want to say like last year, where if you guys remember, if you guys have been watching me for a while, you know that I did a big piece on Miss Universe, and there's a lot of suspected corruption going on in Miss Universe, some suspected harassment of a certain kind that starts with an S by a certain owner, right? So there was a lot of power dynamics that were inappropriate, whilst leveraging those power dynamics to exploit ladies in the whole organization, allegedly, right? Now, I did a lot of work in trying to like illustrate that out to the public and get this out to the public, in which it did. It made Daily Mail. It made a lot of other publications. People were talking about this. Eventually, I don't know what dynamics went on or conversations went on where the whole organization kind of dissipated and, split off, and they're doing a lot of wacky things now. That's not the point. The point is, like, there was a lot of investigation. There was a lot of work put in to expose what was going on at that time, in which I did, and I did it with diligence. Now, one thing that I found so interesting, this is just very relative to this, okay? The overarching point that I'm trying to make is the fact that there are natural born women that cheer for their own demise in regards to stuff like this, where they will say, well, they're living their truth. Like, what is it to you? Like, why are you saying stuff? Like, if you want to comment on these things, like, just don't be hateful. Let them do whatever they want to do. And like, to me, when women do stuff like that, like, you're cheering for your own demise, because you're giving up your essential right as a woman up to people who want to take your, like, who want to act like you, who want to act like me, right? And they will never be in our places. I'm sorry. And bring it back to Miss Universe. So that's the thing. Like, I spoke to so many great people in the Miss Universe, organization space, a lot of directors, a lot of contestants. Like, I spoke to a lot of people on different scales. And what I found so surprising, I guess is the best, for lack of better words, what I found also, I'll say even backstabbing a little bit, is when I made a video, I made a small video. I'm going to link it actually down in my description below. You guys can go look at the comments in that video. I mean, go look at the comments. I made a video about the new owner of Miss Universe, because whilst all of this was going on, I'm telling you, like, coincidentally, the organization got sold to this new owner. I forget what nationality. I think Thai or something. Well, this new owner was an Optimus Prime Transformer, had the same baritone voice and all of that. And I made a little video short on Instagram talking about, how ironic it was that the original, suffrage movement of women, they actually wore these sashes across their bodies to try to feminize themselves, because they didn't have a lot of money, right? So they would feminize themselves by wearing sashes and ribbons, right? And it really was a celebration of femininity. And I was talking about how ironic it was that this is how pageants, this is how they crown and how they award and how they identify themselves, with the sashes and the crowns and the ribbons and things like this. And I basically said this is a slap to women's faces by having a baritone, having transformer take ownership of the entire organization, and then the media calling this person a woman, which is not true. Now, it's almost as if, and I'm not saying everybody was like this, because there were definitely people who were very charitable in my opinions and in what I had to say. And obviously I was a conservative going into this investigation. I was a conservative coming out, whatever, right? I'm a God-fearing person. I'm not going to change my views or my opinions simply because I get, people try to intimidate me or what. But, I'm going to have my opinions no matter what. And there were people that I talked to within the organization that understood that, and they were very charitable. And, despite me making that video, some of them stood by me. And then there were some that completely went on the offense, and they were like, being very abusive in the comments, like, you're trash for having this opinion. How dare you? I have no respect for you. Things like this. And it's like, y'all have like no idea how clownish you look in taking the side of this biological muchacho, who has a baritone voice, who has pictures out there of their transformer mechanics. Okay, we'll call it that, right? Like, people genuinely were really, really ugly because I had that opinion, including one contestant. I believe this was a contestant who was also a muchacho, who also did the same thing, augmented some body parts, right? So still a muchacho, and thought that this person thought that they stood me up, and that they taught me a lesson because this and that, when at the end of the day, like I said, that person is still a muchacho, right? Like, I find it so ironic that all of these guys were trying to get me to kneel down at their viewpoint and to submit to their viewpoint that they were girls. Okay. I'm like, you're a bunch of men trying to tell a female what to do, trying to submit to you at an idea simply because no, I won't. But that's really what I wanted to say is, like, the women in our society that actually cheer for their own demise by encouraging this type of culture. And this is what we get now, right? This is what we get now, where I guarantee you there won't be a natural born woman who gets millions and billions of dollars who says, yay, I'm a woman, let's celebrate me, right? No, it always has to be a transformer, an Optimus Prime situation for them to get all the endorsements and the corporate sponsorships and then lawn parties at the White House. Okay, that's all I wanted to say about that. And you know what? 2 Timothy 3:2 talks a lot about that in the last days. It says specifically, let's just switch it here. It says specifically, there will be terrible times in the last days. Listen to this. People will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boastful, proud, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, without love, unforgiving, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not lovers of good, treacherous, rash, conceited, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God. Okay? That is what the word of God says about these times. And this aligns so well with what 2 Timothy was talking about. People are lovers of themselves. They're talking about 2 Timothy 3:2 is talking about narcissism. This is a narcissistic age. There are more narcissistic people with narcissistic tendencies and indoctrination and things like this, right? It is more rampant than anything in history. Okay, every history has like their demise. I think every era has that point of thinking where it's like, oh, we think that this is the worst part. But I can truly say, like, I don't think it's gotten this bad. Okay, that's all I wanted to say, guys. I just wanted to make my point and give you guys some historical, I guess, context of what I've personally experienced with some sort of cancellation and backlash in regards to this topic. So guys, let me know what you think about this whole White House situation. And it got so bad that at the end of the day, it got so bad, surprise, that Biden himself decided, hey, yeah, this was lewd, barred from the White House, although he was all smiles and, you know, haha, kiki with the influencers beforehand. Anyway, guys, that's all I wanted to say. Thanks so much for your support. I love you. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.